Good evening and welcome to 9 at Night. From the times where India has become famous now even in Hollywood because of music that's come out from the stables of A.R. Rahman, another man who's making it big and someone who would really like to see when it comes to music and his influence on the movies is Mr. Devi Sri Prasad. And this is the man.
He is a young composer who says music is his life. He was given the responsibility of composing music at a very young age and he has managed it beautifully so far. So let's have a chat with this young composer. Let's welcome Devi Sri Prasad. Hi sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
You've decorated your studio really well.
Thank you.
Did you specially take out all these quotes and frame it in glass?
Yeah. I mean, it took a long time for me to collect all those. And the speciality of these quotes is that they're all great things said by, said about music by great people who are not musicians. Yeah, except one or two, like by Beethoven or Mozart. Others are all by scientists and authors and poets like Shakespeare and all that. So I thought, because music is there in everybody's life. So I thought for everybody music means something. So let people know what the greatest people have always thought of music. So that was my idea. So it took a lot of time for me to collect, then find out who wrote which quote, and then go to their site and find out who they were and what time to what time they lived.
Okay.
So all that I kind of did a big research on that. It took some time for me to do that. Then I got them printed and then put it up on my studio. And almost all the people who come to my studio ask me about that.
And also behind you've got a lot of instruments, Nadaswara and all that. Do you play all of them or
no?
Are they just decorative
I don't play.
elements?
I just love instruments and in fact I love every musical instrument. I think that's one of the most beautiful creations. So I always wanted to decorate my studio with instruments. And I did this in such a way that when you see it in the single light, it looks as though they're floating in the air.
Okay.
So that's the idea. So it took even whatever idea I get, it always takes a long time to execute.
Okay. So one of your gurus have been U. Srinivas.
Yeah, he's my guru, not one of my gurus. He's my only guru.
He's your only guru. Okay. So have you learned the mandolin or
yes.
You still play the mandolin?
Yeah. I mean, I've played it in a couple of my songs, but I've not been practicing it so well of late. But yeah, I had been under him for about 10-11 years. And
okay.
when I started right from my childhood, and I was always I spent most of my childhood in his house, and every day I used to attend classes and he used to teach, and he's a man of he's one of my greatest inspirations. He's a great man because he's such a simple and very modest person from whom we learn not only music but a lot more than that. How to behave and how to be in your senses, and even when you're in in your peaks or whatever. So I've always seen him in his peaks and in his most simple behavior. So he's a guru to us, not only in music but in more things, and how to take life positive.
And your entry into the music field as such was with an album, I think,
Yes.
Dance Party.
Yeah.
So how did actually that kind of an idea come? I mean, into composing.
Yeah, actually, Dance Party just happened because pop music is, it was always my passion. So I wanted to release an album. So I just went ahead to record some 8 songs of mine. And my dad and mom, really they supported me. Said, okay, let him do it. Because that time I was hardly I was in 10th. I was doing my 10th or something. But I wrote all my songs and I scored the music and I just wanted to record it. Later on I sent it to Magnuson and they really loved the album and they said they wanted to do it. But then down south pop was not happening all that. Even now pop is not a big scene in south. But whereas in the north it's good. So what they did was then they compelled a lot of artists like Shalini and Anuradha Sriram, Yugendran and all these people. Everybody wanted to do albums. So they took one song from each album and they put it together and released it as a compilation of 8 artists. That's how Dance Party happened.
Okay.
So then later on I made a video for that song of mine, and then later on my solo album called Mr. Devi was released. That's how it all happened.
Okay.
Meanwhile I did my first film called Devi.
That was in Telugu.
Yeah, that was Telugu and Tamil together.
Tamil, okay.
I mean, it was a simultaneous release.
Simultaneous, okay. So could you sing a song from your first movie?
నీ నవ్వే నాగస్వరమే నీ నడకే హంసరథమే నీ కులుకే కళల కనకాంబరమే. This is my the first song that I ever recorded. I became a composer, and it was always my dream that Balasubramanian sir SPB sir has to sing my first song. From my childhood, that had always been my dream. So really, when I did my first song, it really happened, and I wanted him to sing it, and he sang it, and I can never forget that day.
And you also do a lot of shows outside in the US. So I've heard that you choreograph your own shows.
Not really. There are choreographers who do my shows, but basically I come up with the concept, and mostly I had been choreographing when I was doing my school shows and other dance.
Also.
I do dance. I choreograph. Even when we do shows, bits and pieces of that I still put it the way I want, and I choreograph little. But most of it I leave it to the choreographers, because I should not totally interfere into their jobs. But otherwise, I used to choreograph, and I do choreograph. And in fact, for a couple of films, I was even asked to choreograph.
Okay.
But then, due to the scarcity of time.
So you're really interested in getting into
Not kind of
choreography.
interested. See, because for me, music and dance is not separate. Music and dance is like one component for me. I feel that basically in every human there's music, and every human there's dance. It only differs from how you do it. So you might dance in a different way, I might dance in a different way. And people see, generally what's music? Music is, see, when you're so happy and when you scream, yay, actually that's music. When you take a movie situations, we convert that scream into a song. Actually in real life there is no song. But if you really cleanly observe, there is a song in everybody's real life. We think there is no song only because we immediately don't break into a song with a background music or people playing behind us and all that. But otherwise, the happiness, when we break into some happiness or sorrow, whatever, there is something that runs inside our head, and that's the actual perfect background music or the song for the situation, which we elaborate into a real song in a film.
Okay.
So like that, if you analyze and see, every person has a song in himself or herself, and when you feel happy, when you scream, and when you jump, and that's dance. So if you make a detailed movements and a detailed rhythmic movements of that becomes dance and song. So that's how I feel. I never separated dance and music. That's there in me. I can never compose a song without dancing to it. And I always keep jumping up and down, and that's the way I compose. And if my song doesn't make me dance, then I think there's no point in making a song.